This is episode 2 of my Working in the Heat series. As mentioned in episode 1, I have been drawing on my past experiences and memories to help me find ways to combat the heat. One of those experiences was working as a project manager for a government contractor. One of the contracts was in Afghanistan. As soon as I got off the plane, I noticed many of the older contractors walking around Bagram Air Base in their 511 and Task Force long-sleeve shirts with lightweight cargo pants. I soon learned that this was not a contractor uniform, but it was the modern Westerners' version of the Parahan Tunban that my Afghani workers wore. Since I didn't feel comfortable wearing a Parahan Tunban around the base, I picked up a few of those lightweight, loose-fitting shirts at the PX. I found that the long sleeves kept the sun off my tender white flesh and did in fact keep me cooler. Later, while working a job on the Gulf Coast, I took a walk on the beach in my off time and I remembered my early life. I grew up in Central Florida and lived there for about 21 years. I spent a good amount of my free time fishing the surf and estuaries. I was one of those kids you would see riding his bike down the road with his fishing gear. My hair was bleached white by the sun and I was so tan my grandmother thought I was dirty all the time. As I fished, I thought it was silly for the older fishermen to go around in big sun hats, long pants, and long sleeves or short sleeve shirts with separate fishing sleeves. That day, on the Gulf Coast beach, I made the connection between the clothes those fishermen wore and the clothes I bought in Afghanistan. So when I started my current job, I picked up a few long sleeve uniform shirts, but they were a different polyester cotton blend and a little thicker. They were intended to keep you warm in cooler weather, not for keeping cool in the heat. This was around the time that I started getting more noticeable sun damage on my face and arms. It turned out that one spot was cancerous and had to be removed. It was squamous cell carcinoma and was taken care of early enough that it only affected the surface layer of the skin, but it was a wake-up call. You might be able to make out the scar here. I had thought about just abandoning the idea of covering my skin and using sunscreen instead. Skin cancer was now the higher priority, but heat injury is real too. I also don't like to use sunscreen. Years ago, I read all about the desert storm illness caused by applying sunscreen and insect repellent together, which combined to create toxic cancer-causing chemicals. So the solution we decided to try was the fisherman's sleeves I saw used in Florida. In addition to helping prevent skin cancer, and more to the point of this video, they provide evaporative cooling for your arms. They go by various names such as sun sleeves, cooling sleeves, or UV protection sleeves. The first ones I tried were the light blue Lay's Sealim brand ones you see here. They got snagged on everything and the sewing started coming apart right away. I gave up on these after only one day. My wife then ordered 2 pair of white Ignitex UV sun sleeves that I find the Ignitex very effective at keeping me cool, especially when used in conjunction with the products in my other videos in this Working in the Heat series. They have held up well also, retaining their elasticity, and the sewing is still intact. One day, a nest full of wasps took offense to my existence, and in my efforts to evade them, I took a spill down some stairs and scraped my forearm. That was a bit too much for the material and I now have a hole in one of them, but it didn't get totally destroyed, and even after several washings the edges have not unraveled. My only complaint is that they aren't very white anymore and cannot be bleached back to white. For these 2 reasons, I decided to get some more and tried the YQXCC brand. They were 6 pairs for the price of 2 pairs of the Ignitex, so I thought I was getting a great deal. Unfortunately, this turned out to be an inferior substitute. The YQXCC are 100% polyester, but the weave feels more like t-shirt material. Similar to the first light blue pair, they snag on things and the sewing comes undone over time, just not quite as much or as fast as the Lay's Sealim. And like the inferior neck gaiters in my previous video, they are not as effective at cooling. They do work, just not as well, so on the hottest days I use the Ignitex. If you are willing to spend a bit more or are into name brands, Adidas and Nike make some. I have not tried them myself. And again, you still need to drink plenty of water and watch for signs of heat stress. Often it will be other people who notice the signs before you do, so pay attention to comments made by those you cross paths with. Things like, "Wow, your face is red," or "Are you okay? Do you need to sit down?" If you want more information about anything I mention in my videos, let me know.